Good evening and welcome out everyone to tonight's tackle trading onboarding webinar. This is Coach Frank. I'll be taking you through the tackle trading website this evening, showing you around a little bit, letting you know, when we're doing things, where you can find them, all of that fun stuff, hopefully to help you get to know us a little bit better if you're just joining us as a pro member or if you're thinking about taking a closer look at us. Thank you for joining us this evening. Let's get going. Let's kick right off. And I guess one of the first things I always do, as I always like to start in the Trade Center, because this is kind of a what's up at Tackle Trading page. It's got our next show, most recent posts, their replay of one of our YouTube webinars, most recent tweet, where you are in courses, little mini calendar. So just really a what's up page at Tackle Trading. There's also a link over to tradingjustice.com here in the Trade Center. Each week, the Trading Justice podcast comes out. Always a really good listen. Very, very informative and also very entertaining. I would certainly encourage you to check that out if you haven't had a chance to do so. You can catch the Trading Justice podcast on all of your major podcast providers. You can also listen to it directly over at tradingjustice.com as well. That comes out each week. There is also a really nice monthly newsletter over on Trading Justice that is very much worth checking out each month, I would say. Again, you can find that over at tradingjustice.com, or this little link right here will take you there as well. We also do our huddle podcast each day after the market closes. This is just a short podcast, less than 10 minutes to catch you up on the top stories of the day. Quick, efficient, unbiased, just so if you didn't have a lot of time to pay attention to the market today, you're not kind of feeling like you're kind of on your own and digging into it. Saves you a lot of time. I'm not a big fan of digging, through the news. That's not my favorite thing to do as a trader. So it's really nice to kind of have somebody go through those top stories. It's a quick and easy addition to the daily routine at the end of the market day. That is this link right here will take you there. So that is daily for the huddle and weekly for the Trading Justice podcast. Let's talk a little bit about tackle trading. Really, at the end of the day, it's just a bunch of traders that have come together to share ideas, to support one another, to help each other out, right? To talk trading with one another, because trading is one of those topics, right? Either folks want to talk trading and when we can't get enough, or they don't want to talk about it at all, right? And so it's nice to be around like-minded people who are interested in trading the markets the right way. And that's really what tackle trading is to me. When I'm explaining it, though, I like to break it down into three chunks. The things that you can do on your own, that's going to be courses, blogs, some of the tools that are available to us here in the Trade Center as well. Things that you can do with others, that's going to be our live schedules that we're meeting each market morning and market evening and throughout the market day. So things that you can do with others, or the schedule, if you will. And then lastly, our weekend report, our newsletter, stock, options, commodity reports, where we can kind of highlight some ideas for our team coming into the upcoming trading week. So we'll kind of break it into those three baskets here this evening as well. And let's just kind of start with that first one, the things that you can do on your own. The thing that really jumps out to my mind when is probably courses. When I'm thinking about things that you can do on your own, we do have several courses available to all of our pro members, including the 7-step guide to trading. This is about a 2-hour course that will kind of introduce you into, I guess, maybe the tackle way. Well, hey, let's log in, I guess. Logged me out. Always fun. It'll really just kind of introduce you, to our approach. And while, there's a lot of us here at Tackle Trading, and I doubt any of us do, everything the exact same way, I think at a foundational level, we do believe in starting at the top of the market, taking that top-down approach. How do we choose our strategies based off of our goals or the read of the situation? We're watch list traders, so how do we find and prepare these trades ahead of time? Of course, planning, placing, and managing the trade, as well as, of course, journaling that trade. If you're a newer trader, this should really give you some structure. It should really help in that daily routine that a lot of, is kind of a lot of times forgot about when you're new to this stuff, right? Because you're spending a lot of time, charts and options and, software and that type of stuff. But the daily routine and the processes are, very, very important part of this. If you're a more experienced trader, I would imagine you've already got a lot of things set up in a comfortable manner, but I bet you get a couple of good ideas in this 7-step guide to trading course as well. I think this is one of those courses that whether you're a new trader or an old trader or anything in between can really be worth a couple of hours of your time. So that is a 7-step guide to trading. Of course, as traders, charting means a heck of a lot to us, right? And that's true whether we're day trading, swing trading, trading cryptos, trading cash flow, whatever it is. We are going to be using technical analysis to, help in our decision making of when we're getting in, when we're getting out, where we're setting targets, where we're placing stops, all of that fun stuff. And so the better we are at that, of course, I think the better everything else is going to be as well. Technical Analysis 101 is really going to focus on just that: charts, and more charts to help you get a better handle on that technical analysis. Again, if you're a newer trader, that's where you want to start, in my opinion. You got to get comfortable with those charts. If you're a veteran trader, you know how important it is. I don't need to tell you that, but we can all get a little bit better. And so I would definitely encourage everyone to take some time to work through the technical analysis course. The Options 101 course is really going to focus on the contract itself, not so much the strategy or the different strategies that we can use. I'll show you where you can find those here in a few, but it's really going to focus on, what happens when you buy or sell that call or put option. How is time impacting it? How is volatility impacting it? How is movement impacting it? How is liquidity? All of those things that we really need to understand. And the better we understand the contract itself, I think the easier time we're going to have with our strategies as we're, learning and mastering those strategies. So if you've ever been interested in the options market, this really is a great place to start to get a handle on what's really going on when you buy or sell that call option. If you've ever been interested in learning more about the futures or the Forex market, and I know those are the type of markets that some people are really interested in and some aren't, and it's okay either way. But I found, in the past, many traders, myself included, specifically when it came to futures, I felt like it was, out of my, above my pay grade, out of my range. And so I really shied away from futures very much so in my early days of a trader. I don't want anyone to feel like that. It's just a different market. Yeah, there's definitely stuff we need to understand about that market. Make no mistake about it. And if it's for you, great. If it's not, great, right? That's what's awesome about trading is we can trade what we like and pass on the rest. And so if you've ever been interested in learning more about futures or more about Forex, these introduction courses can be a really great place to start to help you get an idea if it's something that you are interested in pursuing. And if it's not, again, at least you're coming at it from a place of strength, right? Instead of, maybe feeling a little intimidated like maybe I did with the futures market back in the day. Whatever you're trading, options, stock, however you're doing it, we got to have clear rules, clear systems in place. I think everybody agrees. I've never heard anybody say, no, you don't. But it's one thing to say it, another thing to do it, right? And for a lot of us, developing systems and implementing those rules can be a little bit of a challenge. The System Development 101 course is really designed to get you thinking and trained to behave as a systems builder when it comes to your trading. This is a fantastic course. Whatever your experience level is, whatever products you're interested in trading, every one of us can get something out of that system development course. I cannot recommend that one enough. I would absolutely put that towards the top of the to-do list. Personally, I think you'll really get a lot out of that course, whatever other things you like to trade or don't like to trade. We do have a handful of premium systems here at Tackle Trading, and what they are, just very quickly, it's a one-time purchase. The system is yours for life. It's an entire system. We do get together once a month with members of that team in a mastermind group. Just to quickly let you give you kind of a bird's eye view of what these systems are built around. The Tackle 25 is a covered call-based system off of a select group of stocks that we put together each year with the idea of selling covered calls and bringing in cash flow throughout the course of the year. Step system is our swing trading system. It just stands for stop loss, target, entry, and position size. Cash flow condors is another cash flow system, this time on the Russell 2000, selling credit spreads. And the bear market survival guide is kind of exactly what it sounds like, protecting ourselves from bearish turns in the market while the market's, strong, and then dealing with those bearish market conditions when we do get into bearish markets. If you'd like any more information about any of those systems, feel free to head over to the store, send us an email to team@tackletrading.com, and we'd be happy to get you some more information. on those premium systems. So that's going to be our courses. Not everything has to be a course that you have to work through. We do regular blog content as well, whether it's hearing from our awesome female trading community and the Women in Trading blog, more on options and the option theory blog, working with Coach Greg, with concepts kind of from the ground up over in the rookie corner, more charting with Tales as a Technician. These are going to be relatively short reads. I mean, you're probably talking, 5-minute type of reads, depending on, I guess, you and how fast you read. But just another way that we can share ideas with our team throughout the trading week. Definitely would incorporate them into your weekly routine as well. We started in the Trade Center. We'll come back to it. Here in the Trade Center, you will find the events calendar. So as you get into the schedule, if you're ever looking for, when is that show? Where's the link? We'll find it in there. We'll come back before we're done into that events calendar. You'll find a link to our trading journals. Journaling your trades is a critical part of this process, right? We need to know what we did, when we did it, why we did it, so we can get better, right? We can see what's working, see what's not, make targeted adjustments to our trading based off of what we specifically are seeing. It's a very important part of this process. You'll find the links to all of the trading journals in there. You'll find a link to our trading glossary, and you will also find a link to the Tackle Trading Playbook. And this is where you will find all of our strategies and the rules for those strategies. We break our strategies into 3 core areas based off of the option Greeks: Delta, Theta, and Vega. Our Delta playbook is our directional playbook, right? So I think the stock's going to go from 70 to 80, or from 90 to 85, whatever the case might be. I expect the stock to move. So that's going to include, of course, buying and selling stock. That would also include long options, buying calls, buying puts, doing things like debit spreads, diagonal spreads, basically movement-based strategies. I think the stock's going from point A to point B, right? Then you're going to have the Theta Playbook. This is our cash flow playbook. This is where we're selling those options and bringing in that premium and taking advantage of the one guarantee there is, and that is today is going to go by, right? Today is going to pass. It will be Tuesday in the not too distant future. So that's going to be things like covered calls and naked puts and credit spreads and iron condors, where we're selling those premiums. Then you're going to have the Vega or the Volatility Playbook. This is, where we're trading based off of the expected volatility of the security or the product, and not, I think it's going from point A to point B. We're getting just about into earnings season, right? This is the week we all get it started with some of these big financial companies. I'm sure we've all seen some pretty nutty things, as the stock reported its earnings and either, blew expectations out of the water or failed miserably to do so. So these are the type of strategies we'd use in that environment, such as long straddles or strangles, and things of that nature. In all of them, you will, of course, have a very detailed video going through, what is the strategy? Why would we choose the strategy? What are our rules for the strategy? We are placing an example order using the Thinkorswim platform if you're using TOS and need some help on the order entry side of things as well. There's also a nice, easy downloadable PDF. So you have an easy, access to the rules for that strategy at your fingertips. You will notice that all of them will have something between a 0 and a plus or a -3. We always want to match the strategy to our read of the situation, right? And so, if you think about 0 as, flat neutral, plus or -1 would be slightly bullish or slightly bearish, 2 or -2 would be bullish or bearish, and then 3 or -3 would be very bullish or very bearish. We always want to match the strategy to the way we're seeing things, right? And so this is kind of where we see these different strategies along that spectrum, and that's what you'll see in that +3 or -2 or whatever the case might be. So that is the Tackle Trading Playbook. If you go directly into the Trade Center, this is where we started our conversation today. Like I said at the beginning, it's kind of a what's up page at Tackle Trading. Beyond that, there's also, some different trader tools. There's a link to the market Skyline, and this is just where we're going to get kind of all of the charts for all of the big stuff in one place, right? So our indexes, the futures for the S&P, the Dow, the NASDAQ, the Russell, Bitcoin, our major commodities, gold, silver, oil, crude oil, our sector ETFs. So, I mean, these things are an important part of a daily routine. I would argue, we should be doing them somewhere. It doesn't have to be on this page, but it probably should be somewhere to have a better idea of what's going on in the overall market and where the opportunities lie at any given point in time. So we just wanted to get all of these charts kind of in one place, easy access, if you will. There's also a link to the Finvis heat maps. This will bring you to finvis.com. The heat map for the S&P 500, so you can get that visual. What did today look like? A lot more selling in the market here today. As a general rule, certain areas were definitely hit a little harder than others. Financials didn't do all that fantastic. Not a whole lot of green in the world of healthcare. Pretty rough day for utilities. We do see some outliers, right? And what areas stood out to us, right? Just to help generate some trade ideas. The default setting is the S&P 500 for the day. There is some customization in here. Not going to go too crazy, but you can, look at it for the week performance, the month, the quarter, the year, certain fundamental ratios, how it performed on its earnings date. So it just another way to get a visual of the day that was, or the quarter that was in the market itself. You will find a news aggregator in here. This is going to go through some of the bigger financial websites, the Times, Market Watch, Wall Street Journal, CNBC, and just kind of get the headlines here for us to easily kind of scroll through. If anything catches my eye, I can take a closer look. Really designed to save a whole bunch of bouncing around, through these different sites. Just a time saver, as always. We're kind of collecting the news for the day. A link to the economic calendar, so we know it's on the docket for the day or for the week. A link to our report. Again, they're back up here. We'll talk about them in a few. Another link into our trade journals. In this link, you will find a video tutorial. If you find that you're needing a little bit of help using the trading journal, that's okay. Some of us do. I'm not much of a spreadsheet guy, so I needed a little assistance when I kind of started using the tackle trading trade journal, because I was using a Word document before then, and so it was really helpful to have a little tutorial and a little walkthrough. So if you need some help on that, you will find that in here. You'll find a link to the compounding gains calculator, another link to a chart if you ever need one, trading glossary, our search function, which you can also, the little magnifying glass up there will get you to the search function as well. The search function is pretty smart. So if you're ever looking for something, a great place to start is just do a quick search. If you can't find it, no worries. Just, let us know. We'd be happy to help. But a lot of times you'll get a lot of content on the subject that you're interested in just by doing a quick search, whether it's blogs or shows or, videos, all of the above a lot of times. So it is a pretty smart search function. Our Clubhouse is kind of, for lack of a better way to put it, our own personal social media place where, members of the team can just get in, ask their questions, bounce their ideas around, throw it out to the whole trading community. And, if we can help one another out, great, we'll do so. If we can't, maybe we know somebody who can. So just another way to stay connected with the team. I certainly invite you to join us over there in the Clubhouse. It's just trading. It's just us. And we certainly love to have you over there with us. So that's going to kind of highlight, of course, we talked a little bit about our the podcast, the Huddle and the Trading Justice podcast. That's going to kind of highlight some of the things that you can do on your own over here at Tackle Trading. I hope that gives you a better idea of that side of it. Now let's talk about things that you can do with others, or the schedule, if you will. And let's kind of start with the daily schedule. Every market morning at 11 a.m. Eastern, we're going to get together with the team in our Traders Lounge, 11 a.m. Eastern, right here on Tackle Trading. It just came into that link here. It's really a place where members of our community can get in and ask their questions, whatever those questions might be, right? You might be struggling with a particular strategy. Maybe you've got a trade set up. You want to get some other eyeballs. Maybe your daily routine needs some work. Maybe you've got a question on Thinkorswim. Maybe you've got a question on portfolio design. Maybe you've got a management question. I mean, we all have questions sometimes, right? And we just don't necessarily know what they are until we get them. So we need to have a place where we can get together with the team and answer those questions live and in person every market morning, 11 a.m. Eastern. That's exactly what we're doing in our Traders Lounge. You're always welcome. Your questions are always welcome. There's nothing too basic. There's nothing too advanced. We've got a lot of traders here. We're all on the same page and want to help each other out. No one's, going to judge you for what your question may have been. So certainly invite you to join us each market morning, 11 a.m. Eastern, over in the Traders Lounge. This show, we're not going to regularly record because, I mean, let's call it like it is. Nobody's going to go back and watch one from a year ago, right? But we will record snippets and get them posted in here. A recent one, Coach Tyler did on building a broken wing butterfly. That's going to be just as useful a year from now as it was the day Ty did it, right? The stock will be different, right? Probably, but the process and the strategy itself will be the same. So we will record snippets fairly regularly and get them placed in here as well. If your schedule is such as you just can never make it to the lounge because you're at work, 11 a.m. Eastern, Monday through Friday or what have you, just let us know if you have a question. Let us know the situation. It's not a big deal for us to record a snippet and get it posted in here so you can catch it at a more convenient time. We always try our best to accommodate our community. So, if that's a situation that you find yourself in, don't hesitate to reach out. We will definitely try to accommodate you on that side of things. So that's every market morning, 11 a.m. Eastern. And then shortly after that, we're going to head over to our YouTube channel at 12:30 for our tackle trading halftime report. We're about the halfway point of the trading day, right? 12:30 Eastern. That's where we're really going to go through that daily routine, that top-down approach. Talk about, hey, what's going on in the market today? How is it impacting our charts? What do the different, components of the market look like? Be it, the S&P, gold, Bitcoin, oil, sectors, things of that nature, stocks in the news, just to really go through that daily routine and staying on top of the markets. That's live on YouTube at 12:30 p.m. Eastern each trading day. Of course, being on YouTube, the drill. Once the stream is over, it will of course populate to our channel if it's inconvenient to watch it at 12:30 and join us live. So every day that the market's open, we will be doing our lounge at 11. We will be doing our halftime report at 12:30. So we will definitely be here working through the markets with the team each and every trading day. Then we're going to have our evening schedule. On Monday nights, we do our onboarding webinar. We're just doing what we're doing right now, right? Walking through the site, taking a little time and kind of explaining what it is and all of that fun stuff. No two are tremendously different from one another. So, not next week's won't be a lot different than this week's. If you ever think it would be helpful to go through the process again, you're of course more than welcome to join, but by no means should you feel obligated to do so. On Tuesday nights, we do what I would consider at least our flagship show, and that's the Coaches Show, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. It is live. It is also recorded and archived. So if you can't make it, or if you need to rewatch it, or want to watch a previous episode, or whatever the case might be, you're good to go there. We're a couple days into the trading week, right? It's Tuesday night. Now, what's standing out, right? Is there any particular area in the market really standing out, whether it's from bullish or bearish perspectives? We can do a quick, overview of the market and the market skyline. But what I really like about the Coaches Show is it allows us to take a topic that's important to the market today, right? Whether it's a particular, trading pattern, maybe increased volatility, maybe, indicator based, maybe strategy based. I mean, there's a lot of things that we can talk about as traders, of course, and it allows us to take something that's applicable to the market right now and have a really in-depth conversation with our team on that. It's a really great way to get more comfortable with the world of trading, get to hang around with other traders, get some ideas, figure out some things that can be useful to you, maybe some things that aren't all that interesting to you. It really is a great environment. I would definitely encourage you to make time each week for the Coaches Show. We would love to have you live, but we get it too, right? Schedules are schedules, and that is why it's recorded and archived. So that's Tuesday night, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. On Thursday night, once again at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, we do our Cash Flow Club. This is going to be much more narrowly focused, on, spoiler, the cash flow strategies, right? Building and managing those type of strategies, building and managing covered calls, credit spreads, condors, naked puts, right? Those type of trades. Just like the Coaches Show, it is live. It is also recorded and archived. If you cannot make it, that is again Thursday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Just trading, just like most things in life, and trading is certainly no different. The learning to manage is a lot tougher than learning how to do the strategy, right? Once a credit spread's hard until you figure it out, and then it's really easy, and you wonder why it was hard. It's the management, right? And that's true with all of the strategies. And so we can really focus in on that type of stuff over in that Cash Flow Club each Thursday night. On Wednesdays, and for this part of it, I'm going to come back into the Trade Center into our events calendar. We do two different things on Wednesday night. Here on our YouTube channel at 7 Eastern, we do our Trade Masters webinar where a couple of the coaches will get together and bounce some trade ideas off of one another with members of our team. And our team will vote on whose ideas they like the best. That whoever wins is declared the trade master for the week. Really what it is, it's a place where we can get together midweek and share some trade ideas with one another and members of our community. Right. And it's a lot of fun. Sure, you always want to win, but I think it's really more, about getting good, good trade ideas and things like that. So that is Wednesday night at 7 Eastern, right here on our YouTube channel. Then shortly after that, we're going to come back over to Tackle Trading for our Wednesday night lounge at 8:30 Eastern. And in that lounge, we'll go into more detail on any questions folks might have had on any of the ideas that we're bouncing around in our YouTube show. We'll also answer, any other questions that members of our team have. Again, maybe you can't make it to that, morning lounge because you're at work, but you can get into that Wednesday night lounge and get your questions answered. So we'll be doing our Trade Masters webinar here on YouTube at 7 Eastern, and then at 8:30 Eastern, heading back over to Tackle Trading for our Wednesday night lab. Kind of an overly simplified way to think about it is the morning lounge is for your questions, right? Very specifically, whatever they might be. The halftime report is for the daily routine, and the evening shows are for the teaching side of it. And while, of course, there's going to be, some crossover, that's definitely oversimplifying it. Maybe that can help keep things in a little bit of perspective as you're getting to know us a little bit better. We recently launched what we call Trading Labs. We have 3 different, this is a subscription product. Coach Mark, Coach Emily, and Coach Tyler all run a trading lab. They get together each week with members of their team, going through their processes with them. They do, stay in touch throughout the week in a private Discord channel. I've heard really great feedback about the trading labs. They are relatively new. If you would like more information, you can find that in the store. You can, of course, send us an email to team at Tackle Trading, and we'd be happy to get you a little more information on that front as well. So the one other thing I would like to highlight is our Women in Trading Mastermind group. We have an awesome team of female traders with us here at Tackle Trading, and they get together about once a month in their Women in Trading Mastermind group. It tends to be towards the end of the month. We will make sure that we highlight it and let everybody know when it is as we get it scheduled, as Coach Emily gets it scheduled. Fellas, you got to find something else to do that night. But if you are a woman in trading, or if you know a woman who's interested in trading, I would definitely encourage you to hook up with the awesome ladies of Tackle Trading. I have no doubt that there's a lot of good work getting done in that group, and probably a lot of fun being had as well. So we'll make sure that we do highlight as we approach that event. It does, I don't get to go, right, but it does tend to be towards the end of the month as kind of a, from the outside looking in, if you will. And I would definitely, if you are a woman in trading, I would definitely encourage you to take part in that. So that's going to kind of highlight the schedule, the things that you can do with others. Hopefully that makes some sense. There's a lot of ways that if you need something, that you're going to be able to get the help that you need. If you're not sure, where to go or where to ask, never hesitate to drop us an email, or ask me in the Clubhouse, or hit me up on Twitter, or whatever it might be. We always want to make sure that we can help our community out. That's going to lead us to that third and final part, bucket, I guess, of Tackle Trading, and that is our weekend reports. On Fridays, as a group of coaches, we're getting together, talking markets, stocks, commodities, currencies, right? Setups, the whole 9 yards, as we prepare for the upcoming week in the market and what we refer to as our scouting report meeting. And out of that scouting report meeting comes our weekend reports. We'll get these to you by Saturday afternoon, so you have plenty of time to go through them before the market opens back up. The Tackle newsletter is going to be, the first step in the 7-step guide to trading, and start at the top of the market. We are big believers around here of taking that top-down approach. right? Going with the flow of the market. And that's exactly what we're doing in the Tackle newsletter each week. We'll get an opportunity to kind of catch you up on the week that was, what were the storylines, how was the market behaving, what was standing out, all of that fun stuff. What, how did that respond to any economic reports, all of that good stuff. The upcoming economic calendar for the week. If there's anything out there that we might want to be keeping an eye out for, of course, we'll have a video going through all of this stuff with you. Where is the overall market, whether it's the S&P, the Dow Jones, the NASDAQ, or the Russell, the four major indexes. Kind of let folks know kind of how we're viewing those markets. What's the ARCA high-low looking like? And that's simply just looking at stocks that are making new highs versus stocks that are making new lows. So it's taking a closer look at the internals of the market, right? It looks at over 8,000 stocks to kind of help us get a better idea of relative strength or weakness from a broad perspective when we look at the market internally. Can be very helpful. We're going to be ranking the sectors each week based off of what we're seeing in those sectors. That's what you're seeing here on the gridiron. It's kind of a little bit of a football field. We break our sectors down into three core areas. You're going to have our growth-based sectors. That's technology, discretionary, and communications. You're going to have our cyclical-based sectors. That's financials, industrials, energy, and basic materials. And then our defensive sectors, that's going to be healthcare, consumer staples, real estate, and utilities. So we're going to break our sectors into three core areas. They will be represented in blue for growth, yellow for cyclical, and purple or plum or whatever color that is. I'm not quite sure for the defensive. Each week, we're going to be ranking these. We rank them based off of the sector spider ETFs, not the ETFs specifically themselves, but the components and the companies that make up those ETFs. You will have there is a list of the sector ETFs in here as well. If you're not familiar with them, what they are is they're ETF products based off the S&P 500, and they'll pull out stocks just by sector and put them into a portfolio. So, for example, XLE, the energy sector, we're going into the S&P, we're pulling out just the energy stocks. The S&P 500 is weighted, so this is going to be weighted as well, right? We're going to put this together accordingly, and this is giving us a much more isolated look at the energy sector versus, say, the utility sector in XLU, or the communication sector in XLC. If you want more information on the sector spider ETFs, probably would say just go directly to the source. The website is just sectorspdr.com, the word sectorspdr.com. That is the ETF provider's website. You can take a closer look at how they're built, who's in them, how it's weighted, all of that fun stuff. But we're ranking our sectors based off of the companies that are within those ETFs. And we're going to be adjusting our rankings each week accordingly based off of what we are seeing. We are going to put it kind of on the football field, between the 40s is going to be neutral, maybe slightly biased one way or the other, but overall neutral. Between the 40 and the 20 is going to be slightly bullish or slightly bearish. And then, between the 20 and the goal line, going to be bearish or bullish. It's going to be very unlikely that we ever do put an entire sector into plus or minus 3 territory. It's not who we are. It's more aggressive than we are. And even just one stock standing out because, against the grain can make it really difficult to do that. It's perfectly normal and very common for, me or, any of the coaches or any members of our community to have a +3 opinion of an individual stock, or a -3 opinion of that individual stock. But we really, you never say never, but I wouldn't expect that you would ever see us put an entire sector into plus or minus 3 territory. We're going to be adjusting them based off of what we're seeing each week. They'll be moving up or down based off what we're seeing. Again, we'll be talking you through all of this in that video so you can kind of get a better idea of, kind of where our head's at and why we're, making the adjustments that we are making. We always want our community to, at least see where we're coming from as we're going through the different sectors, because that's a big part of that top-down analysis. So that's going to be the gridiron there. We are going to have a rapid fire at the end of our scouting report meeting. We just recently started doing this. It's a lot of fun. But at the end of our meeting, All of us get to share our favorite setups from the stock or the option report for both our favorite bullish and favorite bearish setup going into the upcoming week. Another fun way just to share our thoughts with members of the team. Another friendly reminder to match the strategy to the situation. There is a pre-built scanner in here. If a particular sector has caught your eye and you wanted to take a closer look at some stocks within that space, say you're interested in basic materials, this will bring you to a pre-built Finvis scanner. This is just going to include what I call trader-friendly stocks. And what I mean when I say that is they've got plenty of liquidity, so it's very, very easy to trade the shares or short the shares, right? Buy or sell. So it's very, very liquid. It's very easy to trade into the equity itself. It's also optionable. Just because a stock is optionable does not mean that the options are great. They can be illiquid and have big spreads and things like that. If you're an option trader, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But they all are optionable. We can check the options if the liquidity is not there. Okay, well, we can do whatever we got to do. I mean, I would always say don't force the issue on an illiquid option. Again, if you've ever been in an illiquid option, you probably are, you probably agree. That's not any fun to get stuck in an illiquid option. But one way or another, through it, whether it's through equity or through options, I'm going to be able to build a trade off of anything in here that catches my attention. It's just set up so I can easily kind of scroll through and do a very quick bird's eye technical analysis, if you will, of some of the stocks in that area. And if something catches my eye, I'm not even going to try to put together a trade on these little tiny charts by any stretch of the imagination. But if something catches my eye, I can go into my actual trading platform and take a closer look. So it's just a way that we can go through and process a lot of charts very, very quickly. Ooh, this one caught my attention. Let's go take a closer look. We will, of course, have that for all of the different sectors as well. There will be just a quick market world watch, so you can kind of see what's going on in the world, and then some final thoughts here in the newsletter. It is where, I would always say that we want to start. Starting at the top and working down is a very sensible, in my opinion, reasonable approach to the market. And while, an individual setup is probably, more fun to maybe look at, working through the market from that top-down perspective is probably going to make you a better trader. So that's the newsletter. Want to talk really and focus on the stock and the option report here this evening. They're going to be built very similar to one another. You'll also find the commodity and the Forex report in there. And what I mean by that is each week we're going to put together a watch list based off of the technicals for potential stock or potential option trades. The technicals are just important for both, right? It's not, a breakout's a breakout, whether I'm trading with stock, a long call, a bull call diagonal, a bull put, a call ratio. I mean, however I'm trading the breakout is still a breakout, right? My read of the breakout situation needs to be on top of it, or it probably doesn't matter what strategy I went with, right? And so we're going to be building the watch list technically with some potential bullish trade setups, as well as some potential bearish trade setups coming into the week. It's going to be the same for the option and the stock report. Where we're going to differ is a couple of things. But one, if it's in the stock report, maybe the reason it's in the stock report is because the options aren't all that liquid. The stock's plenty liquid, but the options aren't for whatever reason. That might not be the case, but it also might be the case. It might be a price thing. It might be, a lot of things why it's in the stock report instead of the option report. Whereas things in the option report, of course, they're going to have liquid options. At least we as a team would feel comfortable trading the options. Ultimately, that's up for you to decide, of course. They might be better suited for a particular strategy. And so how we might trade them is where it's going to vary. In the video, that will be quite a bit different in the stock of the option report as well, right? In the stock report, we can really focus more upon the processes, purely the charting side of things, that side of it. Whereas in the option report, while that side of it is every bit as important, right? It's not any less important. We're going to spend a lot more time talking about strategy selection and that side of it, because we're looking at those from an option point of view. So hopefully that kind of explains the difference. There is some crossover, right? If there's something in the stock report that you like, but you'd prefer to trade options on it, go check the liquidity, see if it's there. If it is, awesome, right? If it's not, no big deal, right? Just find something else, or hey, trade equity. At least here in the States, most of us have $0 commissions on stocks and ETFs, right? So Not a huge deal. Conversely, if you like something in the option report but prefer to trade stock, that's never going to be an issue. So it's very easy to trade the equity of the things in the options report. In addition to the watch list, we're always going to take a little bit of time to do a little bit of teaching, share some ideas with members of the team. We will have both a bullish and a bearish list, right? They will be based technically, and by and large, sometimes we will note this. For the most part, these are swing trades. Occasionally, there will be something that we like as a position trade. We'll make sure that we highlight that in the video so folks have an idea of kind of where we're at. But we can kind of talk you through kind of what we're seeing and what we're liking about these different things in that video itself. It is important as traders to be flexible, right? To trade both bullish and bearish based off of what the market is giving us. We don't want to bully our way into the market because we can't win that battle, right? We have to go with the flow. So we always want to have trade setups ready to take action regardless of what the market decides to do this week. We do build in the trading view charts. That's the charts that you're seeing here that make up our watch list. A couple of quick things to make this process a little easier when you're first going through it, at least. If you want to get a little more chart, you can just smack this widget button and that will hide the watch list. So you have more chart to work with. Smack it again and it'll bring the watch list back, right? If we want to take a closer look at, say we like WAB, this is one that I like in my watch list personally. If we want to give us a little bit, I guess spice this chart up a little bit based off our own standards, right? So if I want an added indicator or two, that button's just going to be right up here. It will not save, just so you know. So if you add a bunch of indicators, leave the page, come back later, they will not be there. So it's fine to add whatever you want, of course, but do be aware. I usually just throw the ATR on personally. I don't need the ATR to be this big, so I'm just going to hover my mouse over the wall between volume and the indicator, hold the left mouse button down. I can scrunch it up or down, however I need to do to get there. If you're one of those traders out there that does prefer bar charts to candlesticks, most of us do use candlesticks, but I know there are still a few folks out there that like bars. You can change that over to bar charts if you prefer to do so. The default setting is on the daily, but if I want to take a look at the weekly, okay, well, let's look at these guys on a weekly. All right, pretty strong, right? Got a little breakout candidate going on. Maybe I want to look at it on the hourly, right? Maybe for some stop loss or for an intraday entry. So there is some flexibility in changing your time frame. The default will be to daily because we are coming at this from a swing perspective primarily, but there is some flexibility in that regard. Your trend line tool is going to be right up here where you can draw. This is just a good old fashioned breakout candidate, right? I've got a pretty clear level of resistance. Maybe it'll break out, maybe it won't. But if it does, I would interpret that as a bullish signal and at least be potentially interested in a trading opportunity. If we wanted to draw an upward trend line, we can do that here as well. So your trend line tool will be there. If you don't need it, you can just left click it and hit the trash bin. That will get rid of it. This guy right here, you will find where you can build a long or a short position. So since this is a bullish breakout candidate, this is, of course, a long position. And I'm not going to get too specific, just kind of want to show you how to do this. But let's say I want to come in above that resistance, and I'm just going to call it 91.46 because that's where my mouse is there, right? I can zoom, I can scrunch, I can get this chart wiggled around so it's right where I want it to be, right? I like a $95 first target for these guys personally, so I can kind of bring my target up here. Where could what I want my stop loss to be? Let's say just wanted it there for fun. It's going to let me know what my risk to reward ratio is for every dollar I'm risking. I have $2.15 of profit potential using this exact example. So it really can save you a lot of time and some, in the math side of things to see if that risk to reward is there for you. There is, of course, the same thing for the short position as well. If we were looking at a bearish trade, there's a lot of other things that you can do in this trading view platform for sure, but don't want to get too off topic. This one has saved me a ton. This, building out your long position so you can get your position size and get, figure out that risk to reward. If it's worth pursuing, just saves you, me at least, it saves me a ton of time. So hopefully that gives you a better idea. I imagine you're going to be doing the majority of your work over on your own trading platform, whatever that might be, but probably at least the first time you're going through the stock or the option report or whatever, you are probably going to be using these charts because you're walking through it through the first time. Again, we are watch list traders. We want to make sure we and our team have good quality technical situations to monitor each and every week, both to the up and the downside, so we can take advantage of whatever the market wants to try to throw at us. So hopefully that explains our reports. Again, you can expect these things by Saturday afternoon, so you do have plenty of time to go through them before the market opens back up and business is picked right back up again. So that is going to be our weekend reports. Just a couple of other things, and we'll wrap up here this evening. We are active on all of the major social media platforms. We have a presence on Instagram and LinkedIn. Of course, we're on our YouTube channel. We've got a lot of live shows, right? We do our Monday onboarding. We, of course, do the tackle trading halftime report each market day. We've got our Trade Masters webinar on Wednesday nights. So we do a lot of live content, but in addition to that, we've got a lot of other content on our YouTube channel as well. A lot of how-tos, walkthroughs, what are's. We have an entire playlist on Thinkorswim tutorials. So, definitely can keep you probably pretty busy over on our YouTube channel. And if you like what you see, of course, we'll always do appreciate a subscribe and that little notification bell. That always does help us grow within the YouTube side of things. We have a presence over on Facebook. We also have a Facebook group of tackle traders. I'm not a Facebook user, but I know a lot of people do like Facebook. And so it's just another way that they can, bounce ideas and stay in touch with members of the community over, in their platform of choice. We also have a Twitter presence. I am much more of a Twitter guy myself. That's usually my social media of choice if I had to choose one. But I do find it as an interesting way to be able to, share interesting charts, upcoming earnings, top movers, what's going on here at Tackle Trading. So it can be another fun way to stay, connected and interact with members of the community. So if you're using any of these platforms, I certainly invite you to join us. If you're not, that's okay. I certainly understand. You're probably never going to get me to use Facebook. And so I'm not going to, say that somebody else has to do whatever they don't like to do. But if you're using them anyway, I certainly invite you to come over and hang out with us there. If you're someone who just really doesn't like Facebook or Twitter and the whole social media thing, the Clubhouse might be a little bit more up your alley because it is just trading and it is just us. So a lot of ways to stay connected with the team. I mean, at the end of the day, we all have to make our own trading decisions, right? If I like a setup in the stock report, that's my business. If I don't like one, I just won't trade it, right? And so, that's just the way trading works. But it can also feel very lonely because usually we're by ourselves in our offices, whether it's home or work office. As a general rule, a lot of our, probably folks in our day-to-day life, our neighbors, our friends, whatever, don't really want to talk trading with us. And what I like about Tackle Trading is it gives me a place where I can come hang out with friends, right? I've gotten to know a lot of members of our community very well over the years. Hang out with people who want to talk trading with me. I could go on and on. You want me to look at some charts? I mean, I can go forever. And not everybody wants to do that, but everybody here at Tackle Trading wants to talk charts with me. And that's always a great feeling, knowing I have other traders that speak my lingo, that like the same things that I do. They're going through the same things and working with the same market conditions that I am. It's great to be part of an awesome community, at least in my opinion. If you are recently joining us as a pro member, I certainly welcome you, and I look very much forward to getting to know you better as the days turn into weeks and turn into months. And I will certainly be seeing you around. If you're just, checking us out for the first time, seeing, what we're all about, maybe thinking about whether or not it's a good fit, we do have a standing offer of a 15-day free trial, so you can come in and see the back end of what we're doing to see if it's a good fit. You'll find that in the description of any of our YouTube videos. And I certainly appreciate you guys and gals taking an opportunity to come see what we're all about as well. So I will guess we'll get wrapping up here this evening, but I hope this gave you a better idea. Don't be afraid to build your own tackle trading, right? You might not be in the same exact place as the trader next to you. You might be brand new. And so things like the 7-step guide to trading, the technical analysis 101 course, the stock report, those might, be things that you're focused on. Maybe you've been trading options for a while, just a little bit inconsistent. You need to tidy up those strategies. You need to tidy up that that rule side of things, right? So maybe it's the option report, maybe it is the playbook or the options course or the system development, right? You can build your own tackle trading. We do a lot. We have a lot of content, and while we do have plenty of members of the team that are here with us in basically everything that we do, not everybody's going to want to do that or has the time to do that, even if they wanted to. So don't be afraid to prioritize and in many ways build your own tackle trading to fit you and who you and where you are as a trader. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been my pleasure speaking with you this evening. I thank you so much for clicking on the button and catching the video. Hopefully, you got a better idea of who we are and what we're about here at Tackle Trading. I'll let you get out of here, but it has been my pleasure. Welcome to the team. I look forward to seeing you around. Never hesitate to reach out to me or any of us if you need something. That's what we're here for. More than happy to help. Welcome to Team Tackle. Have a great Monday.